Oh, it hurts a little bit.
We'll make a lot less mess now than we used to.
Well, I make a lot less of a mess.
Oh, be quiet.
Oh, got a little on your sleeve over there.
That's all right, as long as it's not on the floor.
Well, welcome back to another episode of Two Drunk Guys in a Football Podcast. It's your boy, Skinny Domestic.
And Marcus the Hammer Mary.
So today is the official start, week 1 of the NFL. We're having a new format for the podcast. So
Yes, we do.
going to be breaking it down into 4 quarters. Keep it relatively good discussion still, but at the end of each quarter, we'll have that good stuff, and that way when you're watching, if you don't want to listen to one section, you can listen to you can skip through, find the other sections you actually want to listen to. So just to give you guys kind of like a breakdown of how it's going to look, at least for the next 18, 20, probably
20 weeks.
20 plus weeks, because I guess the Super Bowl, all that other stuff. First quarter is going to always be previous week news, anything that happened within the last week, both college and NFL. Marcus is slowly watching more college football, so that'll be good.
I am.
Then quarter 2 is going to be our miscellaneous, really anything that we just come up with to just talk about. Like today we're doing projections, so during the season we'll have different shit that we'll break down and kind of consider those aspects. 3 is going to be fantasy. That's going to be straight fantasy talk, previous week fantasy highlights, upcoming week fantasy matchups that we like. I think, and then we're going to do some sports betting, which will include probably miscellaneous majority of the time. It's going to be like a quick thing, nothing crazy. And then the last quarter is going to be upcoming matchups. So pretty much what we'll do there is
Pick'ems.
We'll go down the pickup line. We'll talk about any major college football games coming up. Cy-Hawk week for us Iowans this week, but any top 25 games or rivalry matchups that we know are upcoming, and then basically NFL pick'ems. We'll just kind of go down that list, who we have winning that game, quick discussion, and kind of go from there. Hopefully that kind of pans things out. But to get started, we'll break down quarter 1
with some news.
So first off, last night, Duke upset number 9 Clemson. Dabo Sweeney, his time in Clemson might be coming to an end.
I heard that the Clemson dynasty is over, is what I heard.
Yeah, I think so. It has not been good. They have been very underperforming. They've been very sad, very just not the Clemson team that the Deshaun Watson, the Trevor Lawrence teams that we loved. But even with the loss, they moved down to 25. A lot of people don't agree with that. They think they should be out, knocking out other teams that we think should be in there. Another big game was number 8 Florida State played number 8 LSU. Brian Kelly down in LSU faking that Southern accent, thinking he's the guy, goes in. They got a solid team, very high respected team, and man, I watched the game and they played like shit. They lost by 20-some points, I think. Oh. Just Florida State looks brilliant.
I like me some Seminoles.
Yeah, I know. Talking college football is going to be very hard because you have no idea.
I'm like, Yep, that's all I know. Yep, go Florida State. I like Jameis Winston.
You like Jameis Winston? Yeah. If you want some crab legs, just hit up Winston, right?
True.
Yeah. Then next, local stuff. We had number 25 Iowa. They won. I guess they were ranked. Iowans, we care even if they don't play anybody.
For sure.
They won, but then now they're out of the top 25 because Clemson's out of that 25 spot. So it's bullshit.
That is
Like
bullshit.
Iowa should be ranked 25 coming into this week, but of course they finally won. They actually have a quarterback after the last couple of years. It's been really shitty. Got McNamara from Michigan. It's been I think it's gonna be a good season for Iowa. And then Oregon 81 piece. Fucking just dropping bombs everywhere. So
And
first
where are they at now?
they 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 moved up a couple positions. Nothing like crazy.
no, didn't they move divisions though too?
Oh no, they're still it's still the Pac-12 now. It's still all Pac-12.
But next year they won't be.
The 2024, yeah, they'll be moving.
Okay.
But it's the first 80 piece since the UNLV beat Idaho State in 2015. So 80 they honored Kobe. SMU, speaking of the Pac-12, SMU, Cal, and Stanford have all been sent invites to join the ACC. So Pac-12,
SMU, really?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So ACC is going to be looking at having 18 teams.
Oh, that's crazy.
18 teams, and yeah, Pac-12 is pretty. Pac-12 is done for. And then lastly, the biggest shocker of the NFL football world, Colorado beating number 17 TCU.
Yep.
Colorado has a very hard schedule. Their over/under was 3.5. I took them in our in that college football team draft that we did. I'm liking it. I think it might pay out a little bit. But they went from unranked, 3.5 wins to now they're ranked number 22. That's such a crazy, absurd jump just from that win. Sanders' son had 510 yards with 4 touchdowns. That's such crazy stat line.
The next quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings.
Well, now he's on draft boards.
Yeah,
for the NFL.
Now for sure he is.
Yeah. Just no one expected it. He.
Yeah. I mean, did you know about Travis Hunter before though?
I've heard, like, coming into the season, I heard of him.
See, I knew about him before because I watched Destroying. I've watched Destroying videos, and he's always on there doing something. That dude is legitimately like a crazy good athlete.
Well, yeah, he plays both sides of the 110 snaps.
That is insane.
That's crazy. If that dude keeps it up on both sides of the ball all season, he could be.
Do you think if he comes into the league and he can do that, you think he's like, because I don't think we've seen an athlete like that for a very long time. Like it's once in a generation you get a Bo Jackson or a Deion Sanders or like, even, I don't know who else. Michael Jordan did it too, kind of ish. You know what I mean? Like, still that's
Tim
Tebow, yeah.
Well, I mean, you have athletes a lot. I mean, you've always had athletes that come in and play different sports, multiple sports. I think the big one is athletes that are going to come in and play both sides of the ball. Like, that's something that you don't commonly see.
That's crazy. That's like high school stuff.
Yeah, like both sides of the ball, completely different. Maybe it happens if he were to come in, it would be because usually you kind of want them to specialize in their offense or their deep.
But people have done it in the NFL. Yeah. Like Julian Edelman did it.
Yeah,
so did Troy Brown. One of the other Patriots receiver did it for a while.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, if a team like the Cardinals or somebody, where you're kind of lacking at a lot of positions and kind of need it and you're rebuilding, maybe take that up. But yeah, I knew of him. Colorado's been the big talk of the upcoming season because of getting prime time as the coach, and he, what was it, like 85 people or whatever, like left just a whole complete
the Deion Sanders transfer portal.
Yeah. Because he was at Jackson State before, turned Jackson State around right away. So
people were pissed that he left too.
Yeah, well, and the funny thing is the Colorado athletic director, Primetime, accepted the contract offer knowing that the Colorado could not afford him, and he's like, "It'll pay itself. Like I'll get paid. Don't worry." So the AD's like, "Hell yeah," because we are now. You're gonna get paid because you're gonna put us back in. Because I mean, you get. With college, you get paid if you win your conference, with your bowl game. Like, you're going to get money off of those type of things. So,
well, and just the fact that he brings in attendance.
Oh, yeah.
Too. Like, the fact of the matter is, like, a lot of those teams.
And now, after this game...
He's going to be packed every
Yeah,
game.
Colorado is people are gonna want to come now.
Yeah.
NFL news.
Kyle Rudolph retired.
Yeah, after what 12 seasons?
Yep. One of my Minnesota Vikings. Loved Kyle Rudolph. So many great moments in the NFL. Was a big part of Kirk Cousins' first playoff win as a Minnesota Viking. He kind of pushed off the Saints DB. Don't really care. A win's a win. Get over it, Saints fans. Copium. But no, I loved Kyle Rudolph for a long time. He's a really good player. Once he left Minnesota, it was his time to go, but he didn't really do anything else in the league. He went to the Giants and then played for the Bucks, but kind of was just there. But good, had a solid career. Nothing to regret or anything like that. He left it all on the field. What?
Hall of Famer?
No.
No.
No. He's not a Hall of Famer.
Just
No.
making sure.
No, not even close. Not even close. But he's still a good player.
Yeah. I when he went to the Giants and stuff, everybody's like, "Oh, watch him come be a good tight end." I'm like, "Dude, he's old. He's going to there to like, just collect a paycheck, be a role model for the younger guys." Yeah. I think he's gonna be I think I saw that he was gonna be like an analyst or something, with like Peacock, and because they do NBC, so Sunday night games and like all this some other analyst positions. So still staying around football. Hopefully, maybe he's a better analyst and stuff than Greg Olson. Maybe he doesn't follow the tight end footsteps.
He's got to be smart as a whip, though. I mean, once you have a tight end, you're playing basically receiver and offensive line. So you have to know all the run plays plus all the pass plays. So you got to be smart.
Oh yeah.
Besides the quarterback, you got to be the second smartest person on that field, I would think.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of Vikings tight ends, T.J. Hawkinson now the highest paid tight end in the league at $17.125 million. Yeah. How do you feel about that? As the Vikings fan,
here it's twofold. I like T.J. Hawkinson. I feel like with the Lions for a second round pick, what we got once T.J. Hawkinson is there, what Minnesota got this version of T.J. Hawkinson, I think it was worth it.
Oh yeah,
I think he's a top 3 tight end right now. I would say right now it'd be Travis. I would probably throw in Kittle over Mark Andrews, and then I would throw in Hawkinson at that third, tied with Mark Andrews, but I think Hawkinson is legit. So get him paid. We have the cap space. He was a really good target for Kirk last year, and he opened up a lot. So I'm okay with it.
How's it going to feel to have the highest paid wide receiver and tight end on your team and still not win Super Bowls?
With Kirk Cousins, anything's possible.
Well, we might not be there next year.
Here's the thing: we might have. Yeah, I know. It's funny. We might have. You know what I think? Here's my bold prediction. I know it's going to go off topic a little bit, but we'll get back on it quick. We got time. It's the first quarter, guys. We can make up for there.
Yeah, we still got 11 minutes. It's okay.
Yeah. So I think I just have an inkling. If there's any team to do this, which I hate, but I could see, I feel like, I don't know why, but I feel like Kyler Murray is going to be a Viking next year.
Oh, gosh.
I have such a bad feeling. Which, here's the thing.
You guys wouldn't have any money after him, JJ, and TJ Hawkinson. How do you have money for anything?
I don't know. They'd have to... The Cardinals at this point are going to have to cut some of it. They'll take some of the dough. So
yeah, I
could see us doing it. I hate it, but you know what? At least the games will be fun. Kyler Murray's fun to watch. So
yeah, I agree. Yeah, he's ahead of Waller, Kittle, Kelsey, Goddard, Andrews, and again in the next couple of years, somebody's going to overstep him just because of the media deals and all that stuff. It's bound to happen because Waller signed for 17 exactly, I think, and everybody was like, "Oh, he shouldn't be paid that much because of his injuries and stuff." But Waller healthy is
he's a force to be reckoned with.
I literally was about to say that.
That's good. Yeah.
So news about the Colts trade came out after our last podcast.
The Colts trade.
Or the potential JT Colts trade.
Oh, where they wanted Waddle?
Yeah, wanted Jalen Waddle.
I knew about that before.
But we didn't talk about it.
Yeah, we did.
It wasn't like confirmed. I think at the time that we would have. I think it was just being released. and they wanted like high draft picks still.
Yeah, I don't know.
Your
Dude, they're so
Jim
high.
Arsai is insane. I want to know what he's smoking because I want some of that. Because
Okay, here's the thing though. That's not Ursay making those trades. That's
yeah,
Ballard.
that's true.
I don't think that. I think Chris Ballard is trying to make it so Jonathan Taylor is a Colt.
Well, did you hear the shit that he said too?
What?
Uh, he was. They were
He was
like,
talking about relationships can be amended. Is that what you're talking
that,
about?
and then somebody asked him why they didn't pay Jonathan Taylor, and he's like, "We won 4 games last year."
Wait, Chris Ballard said that?
Yes, I'm pretty sure it was Chris Ballard. One of the Colts like big guys up
The
there
GM?
said it. So
I mean, he's not wrong.
I know, but it's kind of shitty.
It is,
like
but
how do you expect Jonathan Taylor to react to that?
okay, I have another stat for you that I heard. Out of the last like 10 years, the running backs that got paid haven't won Super Bowls. It was like name the last team that had a stud like I am one of the highest paid running backs that won a Super Bowl in the last 10 years.
Yeah, that's
You can't. The Patriots never had one. They always had someone that they paid league minimum or on rookie contract.
Eagles had a running back by committee, so they weren't paying a whole lot for
No
anybody.
Sean Moreno. Or he wasn't the running back. It was Ronnie Hillman or whatever the
Could have been Well, was Marshawn on the Seahawks? Yeah, he was a Seahawk when they won the Super Bowl, wasn't he?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I don't know what his contract was at the time, but I mean,
He might have gotten paid then though. That was like
Yeah.
2014, but okay,
yeah.
so
so
still,
maybe maybe one out of the last 10 to 15 years.
yeah, it just doesn't happen. Your CMCs don't make it. Your, Dalvin Cooks don't make it. That's why I'm never for pay them something, I suppose, but I feel like I go back to the Alexander Madison thing.
Yeah, I
Where it's
agree.
cheaper to do.
Speaking of what people are saying, is Joe Montana is out here saying Dan Marino is the greatest NFL player ever. Do you agree with that? Do you
No.
think he? I think he
talent. Talent is a different thing.
I think. Well, he said greatest NFL player.
No, he never won the Super Bowl, dude.
Yeah, like he was a good quarterback. He was putting up stats in a league that didn't really pass. Clearly,
yeah, he was ahead of his time, but they didn't win.
Yeah, and it's not like I feel like Joe does a lot of things out of spite to Tom Brady.
Well, yeah, because Tom Brady. Yeah, but yes, he does. Because here's the thing about Joe Montana: the more you learn about him, everyone always wanted to replace Joe Montana for some reason because he never was good enough. But he was. I mean, he's a all-time great. But no, I would take Brady over.
Oh yeah,
Dan Marino any day.
Some other guys over him too. Still,
yeah.
Cooper Kupp. I guess now we'll go like injury routes here.
His setback.
Cooper Kupp's hamstring setback.
Mm-hmm.
Find out more technically tomorrow. We film on Tuesdays, so by Thursday when this is released, we'll know more about what's going on day to day. That's what they're saying. With your experience in hamstring injuries, you didn't get top NFL care, but
oh no, hamstring injuries are hard to come back from. You really have to nurse them because the thing about a hamstring, it'll feel good and you'll feel like you got it all. You really got to slowly work yourself into coming back. Because someone like me, once I had my hamstring injury, I couldn't because I'd feel okay. And then I'd run full speed and then I'd pull it again. So it's like kind of like something you got to fight with. I mean, obviously, Cooper Kupp's really good at taking care of his body. The fact that he had a setback, I'm kind of surprised. So they're going to take him way slow. This could be a big deal for Cooper Kupp. I'm not saying he'll miss significant time, but it could be something that comes back and forth all year if he doesn't take care of it correctly.
It's kind of like the Keenan Allen, Mike Evans, where they have like an issue, they'll miss part of a game, and they'll play but barely play. And then the big news that released today: Travis Kelce hyperextended his knee. As of right now, the reports are ACL is intact.
Mm-hmm. They say that he might play Thursday. I don't want him to.
I don't think that if I was the Chiefs, I would not do that. I know Patty Mahomes and him are both very big. Like, let me play through injury. Patty Mahomes has done it, but it's the first game of the year. It's not like it's the last game or Super Bowl or like a playoff game where.
And I think Patty Mahomes himself could beat the Lions. I genuinely believe that. So
yeah, it's not like they don't have any talent around him to throw the ball to. It's going to definitely take an impact with Travis Kelce gone, but
Yeah.
I really think first game of the year you don't risk it. It's if he's having instability a little bit, even with a brace, again, don't risk it for the first game of the year. Take the one loss. I mean, if you really have to, how many games do the Chiefs really actually lose? Typically, just take the loss if it comes down to Travis Kelce. Um, then a couple other things. The Mike Evans with the Bucks situation pay.
Yeah, he wants to be.
I think he gets traded by week 8 at this point. I don't think he's going to get a contract then.
The Bucks have no money.
No.
Where are they going to pull that money out of? There's a reason why.
Their ass, of course.
Yeah. There's a reason why Rashad White, they didn't bring anyone else in. It's because they literally could not bring anyone in because they have no money because they went all in on Brady. And it worked. They won a Super Bowl. They had a really good team for, 3 years. Even last year, they made the playoffs somehow with a negative record, but, winning the division.
That division wasn't good. But
no. Yeah. But Mike Evans is 30 years old. He's last year got over 1,000 yards with Tom Brady. I just don't think that they're going to use him a lot either this year. So I think he's going to get really, really upset. So I think they will get rid of him. There's no way
there's talks that the Bills have interest in him, but I think almost but there's always those talks of Diggs isn't happy either. So do you try to do a swap there with some picks maybe? The Chiefs the Chiefs don't really have a wide receiver one, so get Mike Evans for a year or two. I don't know how long of a contract he's really
that'd be
looking for.
Weird to have Mike Evans there because he literally is Travis Kelce, kind of, but slower and
slower. I don't know about slower.
I guess not as slow, but he brings what Travis Kelce does. Yeah. He's an end zone target. I think they need someone that can complement the Tyreek role.
Yeah. I want to see Mike Evans somewhere else where they could actually be useful because I don't see Baker could. I just don't see working out that well. So I imagine he's going to be traded by the deadline.
I think Chris Godwin will have a lot of volume in that offense.
Yeah, they're going to get rid of Mike Evans and get something worth it. They're at the point where their team is still good enough to where you could compete for a Super Bowl, but you're not going to just let Mike Evans walk for free at the end of the year. So they'll definitely try to get something out of him. And then lastly, I was on Twitter scrolling through today and I saw some just random survey was done or whatever you want to call it. And it was for the most disliked fans. So I grabbed the first, the last, and then R2's. So can you take a guess on the number one hated disliked fans?
The Dallas Cowboys.
Yes, you were correct.
Yeah, that was
the Eagles fans were number 3.
Was the Patriots up there?
I don't even remember who else was on the list. I just wrote down the Vikings were number 10. I was kind of surprised by that.
10 most liked or
disliked?
Disliked.
That's like this poll seems a little weird. The Vikings being that high, just I guess I've never. Besides my brother, who I don't hate him because he's a Vikings fan. Sometimes I just hate him because he's my brother.
Here's the thing: there's nothing more sad than being a Minnesota Vikings fan because it's we're always good enough to make the playoffs and do stuff, but we never make the Super Bowl, and once we do, we lose. So
I'm not hearing stories about Vikings fans flipping the bird to the other team. 10-year-old Vikings fans flipping the bird to the other team's quarterback, or eating poo, or climbing up fucking greased telephone pole, destroying their own city. Well, I've heard of people destroying Minneapolis, but not a Vikings fans, or they could have.
Well, it was after a Super Bowl.
And then number 32, so the most disliked but liked team or fans are the Colts.
People really agree with Jim Irsay. He's doing a hell of a job with that JT situation.
They're like, hell yeah, brother, I love it.
What a weird one. Is it because no one's a freaking Colts fan or what?
Well, I mean, Melton's a Colts fan.
Sure.
Oh.
Oof.
All right.
Quarter.
Moving on to quarter number 2. We've got
Awards.
award predictions, both college and NFL. Which one do you want to start with?
Start with NFL.
NFL. All right. So
You want to go with MVP?
I'll just go down the list here, and we'll just kind of go here. MVP for me, I have Joe Burrow. Joe Cool.
So do I.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I thought about putting Rodgers there because I really like Rodgers this year, and I feel like the most Rodgers thing is to say fuck you to everyone and go win an MVP and compete in the playoffs. But I think Joe Burrow makes more sense. I think pending. I don't think that his leg injury is that big of a deal. I think he'll come back and he'll have a good season.
He looked good running around in training camp too when he came back.
I just think that he's taken each year he's gotten progressively better. And I feel like this year is the year that he just pops.
Well, I have him going like 15 and 2, 17 games. Yeah, I have him losing like 2 to 3 games, and everybody else I don't have any other team doing that this year. At least even maybe 4 or 5 losses.
Yeah,
I think Bengals are gonna set themselves up way up in the AFC this year a little bit more. When you're on a team like that with 15-2 roster. You got that wide receiver core. Joe Mixon's there. You do have Chase Brown and some other younger rookies or younger players that can come in and play running back.
Didn't they get more to the line?
They added to the line. And then their defense is just always you don't have any crazy standout guys that are like, oh, it's the Cam Hayward or the Derwin James, but like they've always been solid. It's always been a solid core. They do their job and it works for them. So I think Joe Burrow is winning that MVP.
I agree. Do you want to go to the next one?
Yeah, go to the next one.
Offensive Player of the Year. I took Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence, will he be the MVP? No, but I think that he's going to take a big step this year. Last year, we gotta think of last year as his rookie year, his first year with what the hell is that college?
Urban Meyer.
Urban Meyer, going smacking the chick on the ass and having her sit on his lap at his bar. Not a good look for that team, and I just feel like it really wasted away Trevor Lawrence's rookie year. I think last year was his rookie year, and I think this year he's going to take another step. I think Calvin Ridley is a legitimate number 1. So I'm excited for that Jags team. I think that it's going to be explosive. It's going to be fun. I think we're going to actually see what Trevor Lawrence was and why there was so much hype on him.
Yeah. It's been a while since a quarterback's won Offensive Player of the Year, so that's a bold prediction. I went JJ again just because the dude is just too good. I almost took Chase, but I was like, if you got the MVP, they're gonna negate that Offensive Player of the Year a little bit for Jamar, even though I think Jamar is gonna have a hell of a season. I'm gonna go JJ
back to back.
I think he's gonna be back to back, and one of the only 3 people that ever go back to back with Marshall Faulk and Earl Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
So I think JJ is gonna do it again. I think he'll have a hell of a season. Even though you got rid of Adam Thielen. You added weapons in terms of you have Hawkinson.
That'll complement
him. Addison. You have those weapons. Yeah, exactly. To complement him. You can't triple team, double. There's going to be times where if you let Hawkinson eat, Hawkinson's going to destroy you on the inside. Those type of things in the past game. So I think JJ is going to go back to back and be the first to go back to back in a while.
Legitimately 4 wide receivers that are decent on that team.
Yeah.
Or 4 targets of that.
Definitely. So my defensive player of the year, Michael Parsons. He's made the switch to DN basically now, and when he was playing DN at an outside linebacker, because he'd cover, going to coverage a lot. When he was playing DN, the man was getting to the quarterback, and it was scary. And now that he is going to be focusing more on playing defensive end, he may not put up 22 and a half sacks because he's going to still be playing both both positions. But at DN, I'm scared. Like,
you should be.
Like, I know the Eagles were able to kind of keep him out of the game, and there's ways to do that. But if he's lining up to rush your passer every 90% of the time now. Good luck. Your offensive linemen are going to get tired. He's going to move all the way around. He's going to move around the line. He's smaller than most DNs, but he's just super quick. Hard to guard him.
Mm-hmm. I also had Michael Parsons. I've been saying it. 2020's LT. He just is a different freaking nature. It is his turn to win Defensive Player of the Year, and I truly believe that. I think that Cowboys defense is going to be good. I'm up on the Cowboys. I'm up on all that. I think he'll be great.
Yeah. Well, and then you have like the other players that have kind of won it the last couple of years, sack record, those type of things kind of made his achievements and what he was doing kind of just behind the scenes because he was playing, almost, I think it was like 60-40 or 50-50, two different positions, basically. He'd be outside linebacker, rushing, guys that are rushing pretty much all the time, able to get those sacks compared to what he was doing.
I have Defensive Rookie of the Year next.
Okay.
My Defensive Rookie of the Year is Will McDonald.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And recency bias and Hard Knocks have really, really, really pushed me towards that. I feel like that dude's a stud, man. He's a little weird with all the piercings and stuff like that, but that dude got to the passer, and I think he's going to be a freaking stud this year.
You think he's going to be like over the top, over like Will Anderson and like some of those guys that?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
He's on a better team. They'll complement him better than.
Yeah, that's true too.
Will Anderson's the only guy there.
Yeah, that's also true.
I also think that. I think he'll complement that defensive line. I think he'll get a lot of playing time. I thought about Jalen Carter, but I did not put Jalen Carter in there because I feel like there's too much depth on that team and too much talent. So I just was like, I don't know.
Yeah, so Will McDonald, dude, you're starting to like these Iowa State players finally. Like you're still I can't. Iowa State players, Iowa State running backs. You drafted Breece Hall. You're over here with Will McDonald.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, you're coming to it. You might just have to become an Iowa State fan at this point.
I'm a big State fan.
Seneca Wallace was
great.
Brock Purdy,
yeah. He should have been drafted number 1 overall on your fantasy boards.
So I went Jalen Carter, and I didn't want to go Jalen Carter, but
you took the easy route.
The way that he's been playing, I think he could solidify a starter role within the first 3 weeks. From a team that just came off with 4 guys with 10 plus sacks, and just how good that defensive line is. We lost a guy, we got him. We're putting him in that spot, and the guy that we lost had over 10 plus sacks. So, and think about it, it's either him, Jordan Davis, or Fletcher Cox at the defensive tackle position most of the time. And when we have both of them, and even better, you got to guard somebody. Like you got, and Jordan Davis, I'm just gonna say it, you got to put 2 bodies on him. He's like Jalen Carter's good, but Jordan Davis is big, so you got to have
and fast.
Like you got to have 2 bodies on him. Even Jalen Carter going 1-on-1 with a center guard, or pretty much majority of the time, I think is what's going to happen. I think he's just going to go off in that defense because you got to worry about everybody else around him.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to, but I was just be that biased guy. So offensive rookie of the year, I think we probably have the same guy, but I went Bijan.
I did too. Yeah.
He's going to be the main focal point of that offense in the Falcons. If Tyler Algier can run for 1,000 yards, Bijan Robinson can run for 12 to 1,300, so
15,
if not more. Yeah,
500 yards receiving. Who knows?
Yeah, and especially with the younger quarterbacks, you see they want to chuck the ball down the field to show, hey, I can pass it, but there's going to be a lot of dump offs to Bijan.
Gotta be. You think Mac Hollins is better than Bijan?
No,
he's going to be the 3rd best receiver on that team too.
Yeah,
that's why I'm so hyped on Bijan.
And like after last year with like Kyle Pitts and Drake London just not having good seasons, and I know you can kind of bring into the quarterback play.
Yeah.
The other one too is Heineke's their backup, So it's not
Yeah.
like Heineke can't ball a little bit.
If Desmond Ritter doesn't
So
work out, Heineke, that'd be so
yeah,
hot.
exactly.
That would be
That would
honestly that I didn't even think about that. I probably would have drafted more Kyle Pitts, and I think Desmond Ritter's a good quarterback.
Oh yeah,
I actually do. I think that he was a winner in college, and I think that that team they will run the piss out of the ball. He can run the ball, and I also think that he'll have to dump off.
yeah. Yeah, think I think that'll be fine.
Yeah. What next is comeback player of the year? I don't know who you went with this, but I put Calvin Ridley.
That's the biggest mistake you could ever make.
Who I don't know who
Damar Hamlin. The dude almost died.
Oh yeah,
He'll play
yeah.
one snap of football and be come back. It doesn't matter. He can play one snap of football, never play again. Russ could throw 70 touchdowns, and Kevin Ridley could have 30.
You know what?
3,000 receiving
I
yards.
didn't think of Damar Hamlin, and you know what? I'm staying with Calvin Ridley.
Damar Hamlin plays one snap of football. He's automatic comeback. Dude, the odds right now were like negative 800, and the next best person was at like plus like 2,000. Like, if he plays one snap of football, he's come. If there's one, if you want to go make some easy, maybe not a whole lot of money, just go fucking put all your money into Damar Hamlin to win comeback player of the year. There's no way he's not. He almost died. I don't care how good he is, how bad his stats he is. He almost died. He's gonna win comeback player of the year.
You're right, but it's bullshit.
I know. I agree.
I get it. I get it. That was crazy that he died on the field. It was crazy.
Calvin Ridley could drop 2,500 receiving yards, 32 touchdowns, break all these records, and still not get it because Damar Hamlin. Like, but here, let's hear your case for Calvin Ridley. Still.
Calvin Ridley did not die, but he did have some mental health issues the year before, so he played half a season, and he also last year had some gambling issues. I think Calvin Ridley is a year and a half from football, and I think that he looks like he's 25 years old. He looks like there's new tread on them tires. Everything that I've seen from Jags training camp, preseason, it looks like Calvin Ridley is better than he ever was.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, I like Trevor Lawrence better than I ever liked Matt Ryan. And I think that he's a true number one on that team, and I think they're going to throw the piss out of the ball to him.
Yeah.
Over 125 targets this year.
I wouldn't doubt it. Coach of the year, I have Robert Saleh. Turn a non-playoff team, Jets, into potentially the number one team in the AFC East that I have. And
you know who I put? Kevin McConnell.
All right, so with me, with Robert Saleh, turn a non-playoff team into a playoff team, potentially number one in the East, and could make a push for the AFC AFC Championship game. Rodgers just, that's what he does. Doesn't get to the Super Bowl, but he gets you to everything else. He's like Dan Campbell the last couple of years, just have built that program kind of from the ground up. And I think this is the year that they kind of make that crack with having Rodgers. They have a very talented team overall. And again, going from nothing last year to, 3 wins, 4, I don't remember how. They did not have a lot of wins to potentially being like a, top 7 team in the AFC. I think he gets that right.
Yeah, I could see that. He's a good coach too.
Yeah.
Fun guy. Hard Knocks have been fun to watch this year.
Very.
I like the Lions one. Dan Campbell is really fun, but this one's been pretty fun. The reason I picked my boy Kevin McConnell is because I feel like the defense is going to improve to middle of the pack. Even without the talent that we don't have on there, I think if we are top 15, top 20-ish, think about how much better that is than what we had. We were like 32nd. I feel like that defense is going to be better. And I feel like his offense, Kirk Cousins' first year as a Minnesota Vikings with the same offense, and Justin Jefferson has people that'll actually relieve him from being triple, double covered, I think that this offense is going to eat. I think this team is going to play really good, and I think we'll run away with the North.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah,
maybe some Minnesota Vikings recency bias, but I really do think that.
I mean, I think it'll be a top probably 5 candidate. I think. Mm-hmm. I think kind of the trend that I've noticed with Coach of the Years lately has been like you went from nothing all to something. Like, because really, if you want to look at it, Coach of the Years, you want to give it to the guy that went 14-3, or like. But when you do that every year, it's like, oh, it's just another year for Andy Reid. Like when realistically, probably kind of deserves it. Like he took a Chiefs team with no wide receiver one, where Tyreek Hill isn't gonna, they're gonna be a completely different team without Tyreek Hill, and still does, goes and wins the Super Bowl. So guys like Andy Reid get overlooked all the time. Bill Belichick, like those guys. I made a bet. I think Doug Peterson is going to be in the run for it this year too.
That could be.
I don't remember
comeback coach of the year.
Yeah, but I think he'll be good. And then lastly, wrapping up the NFL, Super Bowl team predictions and winner.
So I went crazy. I couldn't put your Eagles in there. And the NFC's so bad.
No, you're fine.
It's so bad.
I respect it.
I put the Bengals versus the Cowboys. And here's why. You're welcome, Cowboys fan.
Wow. Marcus is going to be we them boys, I guess.
We them boys. I think the Cowboys, whether it's with Dak or with someone else, I think that roster's so good. I think Tony Pollard's going to eat. I think that defense is going to it did get better. I know you don't love it that much, but I still think it got better. And I also think the receivers are better too. So yeah, I think they'll do it. Dakota Prescott, we'll see if he actually
who do you have winning?
Happen. Oh, Bengals for sure.
Okay. Joey Burrow.
I think Joe Burrow is going to get his Super Bowl before he gets paid big.
Yeah, makes sense, and makes him increase that payment too a little bit. I went Chargers Eagles.
You would put the Eagles in there,
dude. Like you said, the NFC is shit. Like right now,
I thought about putting the Niners in there, but I was like, "There's no way Brock Purdy gets him over the hump." Like that.
It's not. It can't be biasy when it's. Look at the talent on that roster. Everywhere you look, unless a major injury happens, I just don't see anybody in the playoffs. Really, you run it through potentially going to be the number 1 seed again, if everything pans out.
Are they America's dream team again?
America's dream team, but playing at their stadium is hard. It's difficult. Yeah. So I have the Eagles versus Chargers, with the Eagles winning, of course. I think Jalen does that after getting the contract. Mm-hmm. I have the Chargers making it just because I've been on the fucking Charger train since Justin Herbert, and god damn it, he needs to do something. He needs to make a statement with this, because he's at that point where it's Patty Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Lamar's won an MVP at least. Like he's one of those guys that everybody's like, oh, he's a top guy.
Are you scared he's gonna fall into the Matt Ryan?
Yeah, that's like he's gonna have, or like the Phillip Rivers. He's gonna have all of this success in terms of the stats, but the winning and the playoff is not gonna look good, and he can't have that. He's not. That's not the type of player he is. I don't believe it. So I gotta have him do something. Can't. And then like last year they blew that huge ass lead to the Jags. That can't happen again.
Embarrassing.
Yeah. So moving to college, I know this is going to be a lot quicker just because you don't fucking know anything. Heisman, Caleb Williams, the dude's a fucking stud. I don't see anybody coming fucking close.
I think I said that too. Oh, I put / Travis Hunter.
See,
you thought about it, didn't you?
After this game, yeah, but
we'll see. I mean,
I made this list
because recency bias.
I made this list prior to the weekend games. Caleb Williams has just been looking like a fucking stud, back out of hell. Pac-12 is a very tough division this year with all the teams.
Who'd you put
for what?
The Pac-12 winner?
Oh, Pac-12 winner. I have USC winning it.
I did too.
Yeah, like there's a lot of talent, like Oregon, Washington. Those are good. Bo Nix, the Pinat, what the fuck is his name? I can't think of it now. For Washington, the quarterback, He's good. Like
Yeah,
they're gonna they're gonna be solid. So
they're gonna
if
be
you come
great.
out of the Pac-12 as the winner, and Caleb Williams is playing like he has, and will continue to play like I believe, he'll get that Heisman. So USC Pac-12 winners. Big 12, I have Texas.
I also put Texas. That guy with the beard. I don't know his name.
The quarterback,
Yeah,
Ewers.
Ewers. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and then if he goes down, you got Archie Manning right behind him. So
Future Minnesota Viking probably.
every quarterback is a
Yeah, that's
dude.
what
There's
I
gonna
can
be a
say.
talented quarterback class coming up this
Oh
year.
yeah, and Tua's brother, Tua
Yeah.
possibly.
From Maryland. Yep.
Yep.
Big Ten, I put Michigan.
I also put Michigan. I did. I swear to God, I did.
I want to know, like, what did you do?
What went through my head? I was like, you know what? John Harbaugh had some success in the NFL. I know they've been good.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? That's I know ish.
Yeah.
Ish.
ACC champ, I put Florida State.
Dude, so did I.
All right. SEC champs.
Who'd you put?
Who'd you put?
Alabama.
Oh, I put Georgia.
Oh.
I'm not high on Alabama anymore. Like, they just kind of like, I feel like they're not, I don't know, they're falling off a little bit.
Who are your playoff teams then?
I have Michigan, USC, Georgia, FSU.
I have Michigan, USC, Georgia, Alabama.
See, I almost put Alabama, but I think Florida State, they're doing it this year. They're getting back.
I'm a big FSU guy, dude.
And then
NCAA 14, that was a hell of a
and
game.
my national champ, I have Michigan.
I put UFC.
USC, you think USC
Yeah,
is
UFC.
good? Well, they're good.
UFC, yeah.
UFC.
They're fighting.
So real quick, did a parlay, 4-leg parlay. I think this is a pretty decent parlay. I have the Eagles covering 3.5 against the Pats. So that's at -115. Vikings covering -6, so they win by 6 or more. Who do they play?
They play the Bucks.
The Bucks. So I have them winning by more than 6 against the Bucks. Fuck you. Let me fucking read this off. The Bears I have covering 1.5 against, I don't remember who they play, but net -104, and then I have the Bengals covering 2.5 against the Browns. $10 parlay for the 4 legs. You win 123.70. So
Nice.
And I'm gonna stay true to that, and I'm gonna make that bet for this week, and we'll see if I win any money or not.
I better start getting my betting apps up. All right. You ready for our drinks, King?
Yeah, let me turn the page. Quarter 3 about to start. Since it's halftime, do I get to go piss?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
We don't go in the locker room. We're not NFL players.
I might have to go to the locker room. I drank way too much water before coming here.
It's terrible, Skinny.
Stay hydrated, that H2O. Mm-hmm. All right, so fantasy talk. Quarter 3. We had 3 drafts this weekend: Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
A ton, and the fun thing is we're all in the same drafts too. So
yeah,
it's fun that we can talk about them.
Yeah, exactly. Same leagues. First one was yours. We did the auction draft bonus episode.
It was so long, but looking back at it, at the end of it, I was ready to be done with it. But I had a lot of fun. I think I might keep it.
I think the biggest one is because we 10 beers. I guess 3 hours. Like it seemed like we drank a lot. And,
it felt like a lot,
and we were up here. Like it's not like we were
down there bullshitting.
Yeah, bullshitting with the guys doing all. Yeah. So auction draft. I'm not a big fan, but I guess if you want to continue to do it, auction draft, I gotta live with it because I'm in the league.
We'll get better and better at it each year too.
Oh, I'm already the best at it. What do you mean?
Yeah, and you left money on the table. Rookie mistake.
Mistake. I was not spending $71 fucking for Justin Fields. All right,
that was insane.
Yeah, some of these guys were fucking crazy. It'll be interesting to see because it's a 2 quarterback league. So
yep,
you got to prioritize at least having 2 of those 3. I already submitted a trade trying to get a 3rd quarterback now since I traded away 2 of my 2 of the 2 other guys.
There's been trades going like crazy in that league too.
Well. And like your cousin was trying to get rid of K1. I'm like, if anybody fucking touches K1, you're an idiot.
Jake did though.
And Jake
Jake, what
You're
are
an
you
idiot.
doing? I actually thought for Jake it was a decent trade.
Well, I don't give a shit about what anything else happened. If you're trying to touch K1, he's not going to
Dude,
play.
he has Patty Mahomes and Josh Allen. You got to look at the team.
Yeah, I
needs.
guess, but like
And he got a player for Sam Howell. He got K1 and Juju. I would take that anyway.
I guess, yeah. If K1 does come back, I guess looking at it, when you just look K1, you're just like, ugh.
No, I'm going to defend him. I thought it was a decent trade.
All right. So then my draft was Sunday. Did the snake draft in person.
Yep.
Marcus is my co-commissioner officially this
dude.
year.
That felt like it was forever.
3 hours. I mean, it was the same.
Yeah.
It was actually your auction draft took longer on the computer. It took longer than.
But here's the thing, though. Once you actually sit there, because even once I wasn't the co-commissioner, I still helped you with it. It sucks putting up all the names on there. It just takes away from the draft.
You did it 9, and I did it 9, and I felt,
no,
9.
but I did it last year with you too. I hate it. I hate doing that. It's just
bad. Now that we're gonna pay Dom, my oldest son, every year that I have him Labor Day weekend,
Dom, just do it all.
I'm gonna pay him $20 to be our name guy. So.
Dom, you can have 25 more minutes on COD a day, dude.
Oh no, I'm gonna pay him $20. It's okay. And you got presented the ring.
I did.
The champion. Forgot the belt. Shows up to the draft without the belt like a loser because
I am the champion. Let's get a close up.
Got his ring.
2022 Justice League champion.
Yeah, it's kind of blurry, but yeah. He pulls out the ring, and then my wife pulls out her 2 wings that she's won. So she kind of.
You have to throw that picture on here so they know what winners look like.
Fuck you guys.
Skinny also has. I've said it multiple times. Skinny's never won his league yet, but
it's been going on for 5 years.
It is what it is.
I drafted 2 of the winners. All right, I helped draft. I drafted or helped draft 2 of the winners. Carp and Courtney's first year.
So you admit it. Hey, Brooke got second place. I
don't give a shit. My wife won it with my help.
And stole from me. You saw those rosters. Everyone that's watched seen those rosters.
Maybe if the Minnesota Vikings knew how to fucking tackle Alvin Kamara, I'd have a couple rings. But the Vikings are fucking dog water.
I'm glad they don't.
Because then literally the next weeks I outscored both of you twice. So fuck you.
Doesn't matter.
And then we did a Dynasty League last night. That one was a 2-hour draft because it was 26 picks.
And it had defensive players on it.
Defensive players, so it kind of changes your strategy a little bit. Marcus and I both went very young. I guess besides Harrison Smith for you. But
I did take Harrison Smith because
my oldest player was 27.
My oldest player was like 32, 34, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I think Terry McLaurin is 27, so he was my oldest player.
Yeah,
I went super fucking young.
I love the players I got though in there. And I was sneaky. I went and got Jonathan Taylor and Javonte Williams.
Yeah. Yeah, it was funny. I was on a Discord with one of our buddies last night, and I was calling all of, besides the first round, it was rounds 2 to 6 or something. I started calling all of Marcus's picks because I was like, Marcus is going to take this guy that I'm not going to take. I'm going to take another guy. And then Marcus would do it. And the guy on Discord, the buddy on Discord was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. We draft similar. What are you going to do? Yeah. I did take Garrett Wilson with a 7th pick. I love Garrett Wilson, dude. The talent's there.
I took Barkley.
Yeah.
I think solid. He'll be either with the Giants next year.
26 years old. A little old for me, but
a little old for you.
Yeah.
Or what are you? Fucking the dude from Titanic. What's the actor's name? Titanic.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, he only dates women until they're 25. What are you? If they're older than 25, you don't want to touch them. Besides Harrison Smith.
For sure.
I think the Dynasty League will be fun.
We'll see how long. I kind of feel like it might be a league that doesn't last.
Well, and it was kind of last second put together, so we'll see what happens, and kind of go from there. I think it'll be. I think it'll be fun just to kind of see. I definitely drafted for I might be able to take a shot this year with my starters. But God, if anything happens in terms of injury, my backups are not going to be good because my backups are all rookies and rookies, first year, second years that have a lot of potential to be those guys.
Tank for Tua, dude.
Jesus. So let's move on to the next thing for fantasy likes for week one.
Oh, so my first like for week one is Chris Olave versus the Tennessee Titans. The reason I like that is the Titans kind of have a bad defense. They didn't really do anything to their secondary either, and I don't see it getting much better. They have that what's that? Is it something Farley? They had a DB that they
Yeah, Farley. Yeah,
that
James
they
Farley.
drafted
Chris,
or
not Chris Farley.
yeah, Chris
Yeah,
Farley.
that's like the first
Yeah,
thing
I
that pops
can't
into
think
my
of his
name.
name, something Farley, but he was supposed to be a good player. He hasn't really panned out. He might pan out this year. I think he was a rookie or first year player last year, but I just feel like Chris Olave is going to eat in this offense.
Oh yeah, I mean we've been high on the Lave from the
Oh
very
yeah,
get go. Um, yeah, the Titans I think are going to take a little step back this year overall as a team. If anything happens with Ryan Tannehill, their backup quarterbacks, I don't really see doing much either.
you like Malik better or
I like Malik a little bit better.
yeah?
Yeah, he's got
Like
at least some experience compared to
just what's
Levis.
his face? Like I know this is going to be really like biased and ignorant, but I think what's his face looks like a douche, bro.
Will Levis.
Yeah, Will
Yeah.
Levis. He looks like a freaking douche.
Yeah, you saw him in the green room on draft night. You all saw him on the green room on
Yeah.
draft night.
His girlfriend's way more famous than him.
Yeah. She dude, like after that, she like was getting like sponsorship calls and shit for like being model. Like it's so fucking funny, how that shit works. I guess I need to look pretty and hopefully, get on the face of
They get you somewhere.
yeah, get you in green room of the NFL draft and get me some fucking paid sponsorships or some shit. So one of my likes was. It's not just a player; it's the wide receiver room of Metcalf and Lockett against the Rams.
Oh yeah.
Who the fuck do the Rams have anymore?
So I told you a couple, like one of the episodes. I said name someone on the Rams defense besides Aaron Donald. You can't.
Exactly. Metcalf and Lockett gonna have a field day for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know who the fuck they're gonna lock down, and if Jackson Smith and Jigba is available, that's even better. You got those three deep core there. They're gonna have a field day on receiving. It's all. I mean, again, Gino's got to play like he did last year. Maybe not the over 4,000 passing yards, but as long as Gino can keep his stellar quarterback performance up like he did last year.
They tried to write him off, but he didn't write back though.
Yeah,
I thought that was dope.
I
did
like that.
think it was
That's a
dope.
good fucking.
Yeah, did you never? That's what he said
When?
last year
Maybe he
in
did.
preseason. No, he 100% did. He said once he won the first game, he said they tried to write me off, but I didn't write back though.
All right, what's harder, that or Brian Robinson? Many men.
Brian Robinson, many men wish death upon me.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing anyone in the NFL's done in a long time.
Yeah. All
That's
right,
awesome.
You're next. Like,
Jahan Dotson against the Cardinals. Obvious reasons. The Cardinals don't really have a lot of talent on that team. They've traded away a lot of it. I think they have Buda Baker, who I wouldn't be surprised tomorrow if he's
ship somewhere else.
He's a New Orleans Saint.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Everyone is for sale on the Arizona Cardinals. They are going out of business and they're trying to get rid of everyone.
They filed bankruptcy like Sears. And
yeah.
They're just going,
They're getting rid of everyone. So I think Jahan Dotson, who's someone that I'm high on this year, I think he was really talented. I do think Terry McLaurin is still the guy, but I feel like Jahan Dotson, especially because Terry McLaurin might not play week one with his turf toe, doesn't want to re-aggravate it or anything. I think Jahan Dotson is a steal for week one.
So I went, again, not a single player, but I did Dotson, McLaurin, and the Commanders defense. They're going to have a fucking field day.
Oh, yeah.
Again, if McLaurin plays. But that's just a field day. Like, they're going to be going in and playing. Like, the Commanders don't have a bad defense. They have above average defense.
Do you like? It's a little bit off topic, but still with fantasy. Do you like Marquise Brown this year?
No.
Really,
I know they got to throw. They're going to be down a lot, and they got to throw the
dude. They got to
ball.
throw it to
But
someone.
who else do they have? So like, it's like, all right, let's lock.
It's
Let's throw.
Rondell Moore or Marquise Brown. Like that's all
Yeah,
they have. They
I
got
don't.
Trey McBride and which I thought
Trey
Trey McBride.
McBride to the moon this year, guys.
Yeah,
I
Trey
guess.
McBride. Other than that, they did
James.
get was something Wilson. They drafted a wide receiver.
Yeah, I just
Michael Wilson, I think his name.
I'm not a fan of anything on that card. James Conner would be like about the only person I'd be willing to touch.
So you trust the run game over the pass game
Yes.
with a bad offensive line and a team that's going to be down. You
Okay.
think
Their offensive line was just as bad last year, and James Conner without Kyler Murray at quarterback was a top 20 fantasy wide receiver every week. That
running back, but
running back every week. That top 20. I mean, top 20 is a worse starter. So, I will take that over the questionability of Marquise Brown. And
Marquise Brown was good though last year while he was healthy.
Yeah, but they don't have Colt McCoy or somebody that actually I do not trust
You know what?
that quarterback situation.
It's basically the same.
Bring in Carson Wentz.
No.
Then you can scapegoat it because Carson Wentz is shit. So of course the Cardinals are going to go 2-15.
It is crazy that Carson Wentz hasn't got a contract. I'm just going to say that right now.
It is. It really is.
He's that bad that people don't want him.
It doesn't make any sense.
People don't want him. I don't know.
But then you have guys like fucking who the fuck is the Cardinals starter some cheap dude, I guess. I guess just money for at that point. But
what is it? Joshua Dobbs is
the other dude, I think, or maybe Dobbs is starting. I have no fucking.
That's who they traded for, so I assume.
Yeah. So Dotson, McLaurin, Commanders, D were my other dislike or like.
Is that your third or is it
second?
Second. My last one is Ridley versus the Colts.
Yes.
He's going to be my comeback player of the year, regardless of what happened to DeMar Hamlin. Thank you, he didn't die, but still, I love me some Calvin Ridley. Dude's going to feast against that Colts defense. I really think that Calvin Ridley has big numbers in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Who do the Colts have at DB? I don't really even know anymore.
Exactly.
Dude, I have to piss.
Oh, he's got to piss.
I'm gonna piss my pants. All right. Yeah. No, I agree. Calvin Ridley, he's going to have a field day. That whole team might, honestly. ETN.
Oh, yeah.
Kirk, Ingram. I know you're not as high on Ingram, but definitely think.
I just don't know about Ingram. There's a lot more targets.
Yeah, that's true. So my last one is Lamar versus Houston.
That's a good one, yeah. Lamar's going to eat this year.
Yeah. Well, after this contract, everything that happened last year, if he's 100% healthy and can stay healthy, Lamar is back to a top 5 quarterback player. Yeah. And Houston, they added like we've talked about, they added Anderson. But what else do they really have? They don't really have much. They have some younger guys that can clearly ball, but they got they cut 2 of their
best players.
Defensive players. Defensive players. Well, I guess not best to them anymore, but guys that probably should have been on the roster to help them out. I don't think you can get rid of veterans like that. The guys that have actually been doing stuff for you like that, especially when your defense is still questionable. I think Lamar is just going to eat. He's truly got a pretty good wide receiver core. He has no excuses this year. And after signing that contract, Russ signs a big contract, doesn't perform, gets shit on. Lamar is not going to allow that to happen. Mm-hmm. So I think Lamar is going to just go off.
I agree. So now we're on to what we consider bad matchups. My first one would be Najee versus the 49ers.
Oh, yeah.
I know that team's upgraded a lot. I do like Najee this year. I don't want any part of Najee versus the Niners, though. I just don't.
What do you average yard per carry last year? It wasn't.
It was like less than 4 yards a carry, which is not Najee the player.
Which you're playing against a top 1-2 defensive line again. So even though you upgraded that line, I still think the 49ers front are still going to be, and then you have those Greenlaw and Warner just right there. It's going to be difficult to run the ball,
regardless of what is going to happen with Nick Bosa, which they should pay him. But
yeah, Yeah, I don't see him trading him, but
I
yeah,
would pay him. Why not? He's been good.
exactly. It's not like he's been injured like his brother. So
Yeah.
I like the 49ers defense against that matchup. Kenny Pickett, they're going to be forced to throw the
Yeah.
ball a lot. And if there's anything that's the weakest link of the 49ers, it's their defensive backs. Not saying that they're bad, but that
Yeah.
front line and those linebackers are well above what the quarterbacks are.
Oh, agreed.
So my first one is again not a single player, but if you have them on your fantasy teams, I would not play them. Any Colts wide receiver
Yeah, all year.
all year, but you're high on Anthony Richardson for one.
But
Yeah,
wait, let me
but
clarify
it's not
though.
just first passing. Yes,
It's because he's gonna throw 200 yards a game and hopefully have 100 yards
yeah.
rushing. So
Um, they're playing the Jags, so it's not like they have a bad defense. They have a pretty solid defense, but Anthony Richardson has not played a first team defense yet. He looked good against the Eagles, guys that are trying to fucking make a roster,
yeah,
but he has not played a first team defense yet, and we have no idea how that's going to look. It worries me, especially with those riders. Even last year, I was worried with the Colts wide receiver core, how everything was. But with a guy that was below 60% in college at passing, his accuracy, he's going to want to run the ball more than anything. And
yeah.
it's going to be his instinct. Justin Fields did it. Jalen Hurts was doing it. It's going to take time to develop. So all year, especially this first week, if you have a Colts receiver, I wouldn't play him.
If you drafted Michael Pittman, why?
Yeah, at my wife.
Why?
Yeah, Anthony Richardson. I think
Watch him ball out, have like 400
dude,
yards
I'd be so
passing,
fucking pissed.
5 touchdowns.
I'll be pissed. He has not played a first team defense yet,
No, he
so
hasn't. We'll see.
I just don't. I don't think it's going to be there yet.
Yep. Next I have James Cook versus the Jets. I feel like James Cook was a very popular fantasy, mid early round target for a lot of players. I don't see James Cook doing that well against this team. He could have some receiving upside, but I feel like the Jets' defensive line is so stacked.
Yeah, Quinnen Williams, Will McDonald, you
Yep.
got Thomas Solomon. Like they have a very solid run stopping core.
Solomon Thomas.
Yeah, Thomas Solomon. We'll finish up the quarter. We don't have much left. It's the end of the quarter, but it's like PTI. We're gonna go over a little bit. All right.
Yep.
I agree. I went opposite of you. I went the Cook Hall matchup. Just because we have no fucking clue who is running back one.
Yeah.
Cook and Hall both had injuries this offseason.
Yeah.
And we have no idea how much either are going to play. I know they're both going to have good seasons. I feel like they're going to have good seasons.
I fade Hall a little bit in the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
I feel like once you get to week 3, 4, I feel like that's when Hall's really going to be.
The biggest thing to consider, too, is Dalvin Cook didn't play any preseason games. He was out. He had a baby.
I don't think Hall did,
though. Hall was at practice, though. He didn't play, but he was at least practicing. Yeah. Cook, I don't think practiced.
I think Rodgers liked Hall, too, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, week 1, it just worries me because you don't know how much time they're going to get. Robert Saleh was not like, oh, we're doing this for this guy, this for this, undisclosed. So, it makes it a little difficult to see. I would imagine with the situation, you're probably going to have Dalvin start, but I want to say Breece Hall's going to take a majority of the snaps, but at the same time, they don't want to overwork him right away with both their injuries. So Michael Carter is going to see some playing time, I would imagine. So week 1, kind of wait it out, feel it out, see if anybody releases anything. I would, as much as you probably want to start them, they're looking at hold back if you can. If you have like another, maybe
if AJ, you could start one, which one would it be?
I would probably start Breece. If I had to start
one over Dalvin, really.
Yeah. I don't think Dalvin's going to get a lot of touches this week just because of, or I guess next week, Monday night game, but just he hasn't really done much in the offseason. He's been away. At least Brees came back. Yeah, at least Brees came back and was participating in practices, running reps with the first team, all that. And they know that why force Michael Carter? It's not like Michael Carter's a scrub. Why force one of those two going to come back 100% right away when you have another wide receiver or running back like Michael Carter?
I can see that. My last one is the Eagles RBs versus the Pats. Who's going to be the starting running back is the question.
Exactly.
Is it going to be Swift? Is it going to be Gainwell? Or is it going to be
Penny?
Rashad Penny? I don't know. You don't know. Hell, the Eagles don't know. No one knows. So right now, everyone's saying Swift's looking good or Gainwell's taking first-round reps. Also, in training camp, can a player like Rashad Penny really show what he's good at? Because it's yards after contact. How much yards after contact do you get in practice?
Yeah, and like I said earlier in another couple podcasts, it reminds me of the 2017 situation in terms of you're gonna have Jay Ajayi, Garrett Blount, Corey Clement, Darren Sproles. Each one of those guys is gonna play a specific role. Does maybe like I'm leaning more towards DeAndre Swift being the used more back just because he's more closer to Miles Sanders, how they used him last year. But like the Garrett Blount role, Rashad Penny, Darren Sproles, Boston Scott, Corey Clement, the Jay Ajayi, like it's going to be interesting to see how this good running back core ended up playing out.
And I want to say something about this running back core. Last year couldn't have been more perfect for those running backs because they were beating the hell out of whoever they were playing. This year their schedule is harder.
Yep.
I feel like passing-wise, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith could have more upside than they did last year because they didn't pass in the second half, really.
No, we were the leading team in rushing attempts in the second half because we were up so high. Which is, and again, first half, some of those games, Miles Sanders had one or two rushes, because we were just beating the shit out of them in every other way. And then we're like, all right, we'll give them the ball in the halftime. So, yeah, it'll be interesting how that goes. Like I said, I've been high on Swift ever since we traded for him. I just think he fits that Miles Sanders role really well, being able to run receiving out of the back. Rashad Penny's more of a north-south runner to me. But he was also having a good season until he got hurt last year too, and then Kenneth Walker took over. So it'll be interesting to see what they do there. Lastly, real quick, for fantasy, we're just to make our projections on the top quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. Quarterback, I think, along with being the MVP, Joe Burrow is going to lead that caliber. He's going to throw a lot more touchdowns than people expect, throw a lot more yards, and I think he's going to I think he's going to use his legs a little bit more. He has that mobility to do that.
He does. I have Josh Allen. I took the easy way out. Josh Allen, although I don't think of him that highly as a quarterback, I don't think he's bad, but I just think he's a little overrated. I think that his ability to throw the ball plus his rushing upside, and he steals a bunch of goal line touches.
And with James Conner being a smaller back, they may not look to call his number on shorter stuff.
So I think Josh Allen would be my QB1.
Running back, we both went Bijan.
Yeah.
I couldn't decide. I want to say Eckler again.
I got shares of Bijan. You got shares of Bijan.
Yeah.
We're both pretty high on him.
Yeah, I just he's going to be that focal point of the offense. I was kind of considering Saquon too, but I think he'll have more in a weaker division. He'll have a lot more, 6 games. He'll have a lot more chances to score, touches, those type of things. While with Barkley, he's playing the Eagles, Commanders, Cowboys defense. It's going to be a little bit. You got to work a little bit harder for it compared to what Bijan may have to. Wide receiver,
Garrett Wilson.
I went Jamar Chase.
I think Garrett Wilson this year. I think that he has really very little competition in that receiving room, besides what's his nuts Iowa State guy,
Alan Lazard, which I think Alan Lazard at this point is a solidified wide receiver.
He's a role player. He'll have his role. Yeah. But I think Garrett Wilson, money, man. Him and Rogers, I feel like have a special connection already. And on top of
Hard
that,
Knocks
it's gonna get
bias.
better. The Hard
Yeah,
Knocks bias,
yeah,
brother.
no,
True.
yeah.
I
No,
mean,
okay.
everyone saw that preseason catch like that.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. Garrett Wilson, I don't know what he does, man, but he just
Well,
takes that ball and rips it away,
and
man.
just and I mean, like when Rogers had Devontae, I mean,
Yeah, that's what it reminds me of.
like he's just he's that guy. He's gonna when it's 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, and they're throwing a whatever a goal line fade route, like you're going to Garrett Wilson
Oh,
and
100%.
nobody else, and that's what Rogers did very successfully with Devontae for many years. So,
Yeah.
Thought about him too, but I think with Jamar Chase, with Joe Burrow, potential MVP, he's gonna get fed a lot. I think this year, and then tight end, I went Darren Waller.
I took Travis.
Yeah, Travis
is
the
money.
Yeah,
he's
Travis
easy.
is money.
He was easy route, but he's been so money.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, he did get hurt after I wrote this.
Yeah,
but,
so we'll see what happens. I went Darren Waller just because after all the talks we've had, he's gonna be the focal point of that passing game. And like watching some of those preseason games that he played in 8 passing attempts or whatever, or 8 routes run, he had 50% of the passes thrown to him. You know, like he's gonna see a high volume, I think, from Daniel Jones this year.
That's one person that I missed out this year.
And it may not be, and one thing I think it may not be like Travis Kelce who's getting all the yards. I think it's going to be a lot of Zach Ertz type just catches, you know, like 5-6 yards, maybe not 10-20 down the field. You know, it's going to be a lot of that going for him. So in PPR, you get all those point for catches. He'll have the yards too, but those catches are going to make the big difference, I think. Yeah. And then red zone, I think he's going to eat with.
Oh yeah,
he's got speedy receivers. Nobody like Mike Evans if we go get. He's going to be the big man in the red zone. But I know they were running things for that other tight end that they have to like flank for Waller. Like it's gonna go to Waller, and then that other dude's wide open, so he's gonna be the focal point when it comes to red zone to try to get hit the ball. But that's the end of Q3. I know we went over a little bit, but had to go with it. Oh,
now I gotta piss.
Go pee. You're good. And we're back.
And we are back.
So Q4, this is where you make or break your team, your game. You take the lead. This is the fucking dog hour, all right? So Q4, like we said earlier in the podcast, this is going to be talking about upcoming week matchups, college level, whatever's going on in the college level. Again, until Marcus kind of gets more into that, it's going to be more NFL, but we're still get that college hit. As the fellow Iowans that we are, it's the best week of the year, I guess, in terms of football for all of us. It's the fucking Cyhawk week. Iowa State rivalry has been going on for many years. The game at least has been played for over 60 something, close to 70 years now, 70 games at least. I think this will actually be, or 80? No.
That's a lot of years.
A lot of years. Yeah, it's been played over a lot of years. Yeah. I know recently in the last couple of years they've turned it into like the Cyhawk series where it's like all sports, but nobody really gives a shit about like any other sport but football. Yeah. Maybe wrestling too. Cyhawk games Saturday. Both are 1-0, which kind of happened a lot over the last couple of years with Iowa State becoming a better program. I think it's shocking that Iowa State's won. I'm not high on Iowa State this year just due to the gambling issues with some of those starters, losing some of those starters. But the way they played last week, I was like, oh, you drew me in. I'm going to have faith now. Then they're just going to disappoint me.
Some disappointment, yeah.
They play in Ames this week, so Iowa State does have the home field. Tailgating is always a blast. With having kids now, it makes it a little hard to get to some of those.
I'm supposed to tailgate an Iowa game this year, actually.
Oh, yeah? When? Do you know?
It's with Amber's friend, Paige.
Oh.
Their family lives in Iowa City, so they like do big like tailgating stuff. So it's like I'll get drunk before a college football game and not watch it.
Pre-wife and kids from high school until before I met my wife, tailgating was the shoot. Like I used to tailgate in high school for fucking football games.
I
But like
tailgated a couple times in high
I
school.
love tailgating. Iowa State, the Iowa State games tailgating, it was always a blast. Um, some of the best memories I have with some of my buddies are like the shit we did, the shit we took, the things that we put in our body, just the amount of things. Yeah, good times. But yeah, it gets a little harder once you have a family, kids. You
Yeah.
can't go be the drunken idiot they used to be. Unfortunately, just wait till they get older, and then I'll be fine again. Uh, right now, Iowa leads. It's kind of a beat down. Iowa leads 46-23. Hopefully, Iowa State can make that 46-24. Make it one step closer, one step at a time, baby.
Who do you got?
I have Iowa State winning it. I gotta support them. I think deep down, I think Iowa wins, but as an Iowa State fan, you can tell.
You know what I'm going to take? I'm going to take Iowa.
Yeah.
Just to be that guy.
They're favored by 4 points, which I think is still awfully close for like Iowa has a very good. They actually have a quarterback finally. Their defense is always good, and Iowa State's going through all these losses at quarterback, running back.
Yeah.
The over under is 36.5. I'm taking the under. I think it's going to be a very defensive game. Such a good time. Everybody, this is the week where even though you're friends with your best friend, may be a Hawkeyes fan, and you're an Iowa State fan, you guys are still friends, but you kind of low key just hate each other. And then like after the game Saturday, you don't want to fucking talk to anybody either. You're like, fuck these guys. I don't want to deal with any of you. Y'all can fuck off and go from there. Some other big games, top 25 games is Ole Miss, number 20, plays number 24 Tulane.
I hate Ole Miss. You want to know why? Laquan Treadwell.
Laquan Treadwell. But they did have, DK Metcalf.
Did the Vikings get DK? Then I don't care about him.
Oh, good old Eli Manning came from.
He did. Not a Viking either.
And then Tulane. I think Ole Miss probably wins it. I didn't watch any of their games this weekend, but
I would imagine
top 25 matchup. Tulane might not be in the top 25 after this week, even though they lost to somebody ranked higher. And then the big matchup here is number 11 Texas versus number 3 Bama. That's playing rights for potential college football playoff push. If Bama loses it, they may be out of contention.
You think Bama loses it? I don't.
Texas didn't look the hottest last week, but they have so much talent to be that team.
Yeah.
Again, to me, Bama, I feel like has just fallen off a little bit in terms of every year I could at least tell you 2 to 3, 4 players on their team. I have no idea who was on Bama's roster anymore. Couldn't tell you. It's not like they have those wide receiver rooms like they did the last couple of years with Ruggs, Waddle.
Is there any of them?
Devontae Smith and
Jameson Williams.
Yeah, Jameson. They don't have nobody's talking about that team like they have been over the years. I think Alabama has kind of taken a step back. Clearly, they're getting very good, talented teams.
I think the NIL stuff has hurt them.
I can't say yes. I think every team has kind of been impacted by it. There's teams that are impacted greater for it, especially like the Miami, like Florida teams. I've noticed a lot of the bigger named guys coming out of recruiting have gone to like Florida teams just because they could make the most money. Yeah. It seems like in Florida. But I don't think Bama's making they have Bryce Young, which he was making $1 million before he even took a snap of football at Bama,
which is insane.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah. Well, and now some of these guys
why Florida, would you go to the NFL if you can? I mean, you could make so much more money, but if you had $1 million and could set yourself that much ahead of everyone in life, play 4 years of college and make $1 million, 2 million, 3 million. Why would you even go to the NFL?
Exactly. Why put your body? You could go. You don't even go to the NFL. You could go to the NFL and be like a coach. Like do something
Yeah.
else in the NFL and still make good money. Or even like
Leave as a legend.
or like analytic, like SEC. The SEC network loved Tim Tebow after he left, so he went and was an analyst for him. So, like some of these guys, like one of the dudes, like what was it, the Florida dude? He committed to Florida. His NIL deal didn't work out. It was like worth like $13 million. Hadn't even played
And went to
college football yet.
Arizona or something.
Yeah, I went to Arizona and said like it's just crazy how much money the NIL really has around the college football, and play 1 year to make that $13 million.
You're set for life.
Yeah, exactly. Why do I need to go to the NFL? And some of these guys may not make it to the NFL. They may just be college guys. Yeah, that Texas Bama. I want to see Texas upset Bama. I just don't think Bama again is that team that it used to be. I think there's far better college football teams that deserve to be in those top 5 this year. And, Bama at this point just proved me wrong. So that's all I'm waiting for. So now we have
Pick'ems.
our Pick'ems breakdown. We're just going to go down the lists. Start with the Thursday night game.
I have believe it or not, the Chiefs winning that game versus the Lions.
With
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Okay.
Doesn't matter. I don't see if the Lions upset the Chiefs, I'd be very shocked, as would probably the world.
Their defense still is a little questionable.
Doesn't matter. They do need to sign Chandler Jones. He was a big.
I was talking about the Lions, but yeah, the Chiefs' defense, too, is kind of questionable too.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be a fun game to watch because I feel like it's going to be high scoring on both teams,
and I think it'll be a lot closer of a game too than people expect.
Yeah, I mean, good fantasy game. I mean, if you got Amon-Ra, Gibbs, any of those players, money, man.
Patty Mahomes is going to have to throw the shit out of the ball.
Yeah.
If Travis Kelce is hurt, Pacheco might see an increased role. Then at that point, those wide receivers, who knows who's going to be getting that volume?
Probably Sky Moore's who I'd lean on the most out of all of them because even though I love Tony Paul, or not Tony Pollard, Kadarius Toney. I love Kadarius Toney, but I just at this point in time, there's no way. Yeah. He's made out of glass, man.
Yeah. I also have the Chiefs, with or without Kelce. Patty Mahomes is a winner, and he finds a way to win.
Yes.
Andy Reid at coach, it don't matter. He'll out-scheme the shit out of you.
Yeah.
I think Dan Campbell is a great coach for the Lions, but Andy Reid is four tiers, 80,000 steps ahead of you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like the Lions are not down anybody either. They don't have a wide receiver too. Like it's Amon-Ra, and after that,
it's Gibbs probably.
Yeah, and again, their defense. Sauce Connor's been kind of injured a little bit into this preseason.
Oh, you're talking about it's not defense. Sauce Gardner. You're talking about the guy that was from the Eagles and the Saints,
or not? So yeah, fucking Gardner Johnson. Yeah, gosh. Same last name, last name right there. Yeah. Gardner Johnson. He's been hurt a little bit in the offseason, so I love him. I wish the Eagles were able to keep him. He's young. He's a good safety. And you have Aiden Hutchinson. But outside of that, you still kind of have some questions.
Rodriguez was decent. Another Hard Knocks guy that, turned in.
Yeah, so I have the Chiefs taking it too.
Mm-hmm. Falcons versus the Panthers. I have the Falcons taking it. I'm kind of a little bit higher on the Falcons. I hate Arthur Smith fantasy-wise, but as a head coach, he kind of is good at masking that roster. He really did a good job last year with Marcus Mariota. That team won a good amount of games for how bad they really were. So.
Yeah, I took the Falcons too.
Yep.
These rookie quarterbacks scare me, especially after just watching them, all of them during the preseason. Just none of them really stood out to me. I guess Bryce Young, their defense is good. They have the Brian Burns issue now, where he's not reporting to camp because he wants to get paid. So you lose him. That's a heavy hit to their defensive front. Like I would say it's a heavier. The 49ers not having Bosa is less impactful than the Panthers not having Brian Burns on their
It's a
front line.
hot take, but I actually agree. Yeah, Brian
Because you have
Burns
so
is a
many.
stud.
Yeah, you have so many. It's not saying that Brian Burns is better. It's you have so many good people on that 49ers defense that Bosa's not the only person on that line, really.
I
The
agree.
Panthers, Brian Burns is a heavy part of that. Like, he is their guy on that line.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Does he play? Is something to get figured out and he plays? I don't know. Probably not. I think the Falcons, again, with Bijan, you have Drake London, Kyle Pitts.
3 first-round talents on that
They're
team.
all super talented players. And the biggest thing is they'll just run the ball down your throat. They're going to do it. It's going to happen. Tyler Argill can come in. He'll run the ball down your throat. Like it's going to – the Panthers are going to get beat up. I don't trust the Panthers' offensive line. And Bryce Young is probably going to get sacked more than 3 to 4 times.
And he's not. He's small, and I don't think that he's as talented as Kyler Murray.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
I just don't. Bengals versus Browns. Do we really need to talk about this one? The Bengals are going to win.
Yeah, Bengals win. Bengals win.
There may be a higher scoring game, but the Bengals are going to win. I like Deshaun Watson this year. Not against the Bengals. I think Joe Burrow is a better quarterback, better team, better everything.
This is not their one of 2 losses that are going to happen in the season. Next one is Jacksonville versus Indianapolis. Another one I don't think we really need to discuss further. AR not going to do shit against the Jags, in my opinion. Hasn't played a first-team defense. And Trevor Lawrence is just going to fucking feast.
AR, get 100 rushing yards. That's 10 points. Get me 2 rushing touchdowns, and I'll love you for the rest of your life. That's all I need. Just
22 points just from that. No, 22 passing yards. I don't need the full.
Yeah. Don't pass the ball at all.
They're going to pass the fuck out of the ball. They're going to be down so much. Dougie P, dude, I love Dougie P. He is
going to eat him up. Yeah,
fucking eat the Colts this week. Tampa Bay at Minnesota. This one was a little interesting because you kind of. It's not. No. I have the Vikings still winning, and I took them to win by 6, but I had to think about it a little bit because, like you say, what if Baker comes out and plays like Baker?
If Baker is this year's Geno Smith, which I could see because I've said it for many years. I like Baker. I like Baker as a leader. I like Baker's fire that he has. A lot of people don't have that competitiveness that Baker does. I like Baker, but in the same breath, I feel like the Minnesota Vikings, Kirk Cousins is better. The offense is better. The defense is not as good as theirs, but I still think Vikings are going to come out and snag it.
Yeah, I think they'll win by at least a touchdown. I had to think about it a little bit because healthy, the Bucs have a way better defense, way better defensive personnel, way better.
They do.
The Bucs better offensive line. So even if Baker's not playing, and then overall receiving core, you got JJ. You have Addison, you have KJ Osborne and Hawkinson, and then you have Mike Evans. Like that one clearly I lean to the Vikings a little bit, but God, it was so tough because I was like, it comes down to Baker. It really does. Baker is like the biggest issue. If Baker comes out and plays like rookie year Baker, 26 touchdowns or some shit like that. Like Baker, it'll be a good game. I still think, but I have the Vikings winning.
Next. Saints versus Titans. I have the Saints winning.
I have the Saints winning too. I'm high on the Saints this year.
Yeah.
Because they're in an easy division. Down on the Tennessee Titans this year.
Have a bad defense.
Yeah. When you rely on Derrick Henry to run the ball, your defense can't give up points.
Yep.
And when they get down, then you're fucked with Derrick Henry.
Commanders versus Cardinals. Commanders. I don't have the Cardinals winning a lot of games.
Yeah, I have the Commanders. Sam Howell impressed me a little bit.
Yeah. I think he's legit.
And he wants to swing the ball, and they have weapons. Cardinals are tanking for a quarterback. And then we have San Francisco versus Pittsburgh. I'm actually kind of interested to see what you said here.
I don't have San Francisco and Pittsburgh on there. I must have forgot. I'm gonna take San Fran over
Really?
Pittsburgh.
I took
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
Really?
Yeah, I think Burt. I'm mixed emotions about Brock Purdy still. I don't think he's going to be 8-1.
You told me that he was going to be drafted in the NFL. I think you told me that he
Yeah,
was
I was.
projected to be like a top.
I was the only. I was the out of all of my friends. Maybe like some other, like Ben was an Iowa State fan. Maybe, but I said Brock Purdy was going to be an NFL quarterback, and everybody was like, "Oh, you're fucking high," and he has the capability to be a starter. I think he has the ability to do it, but it still kind of scares me with the surgery, the injury, and last year the 8-1. Is he going to be able to keep up and hold? Because
Yeah,
if you don't, because the other one too is
he's a system quarterback. Kyle
if you
Shanahan
don't have
wants system
and if you
quarterbacks.
don't have Joey Bosa or Nick Bosa, sorry, I know again I just said it's not that big of an impact, but it's still impactful. Like I think Kenny Pickett has a good season this year. They have a
They're
lot
not
of
going to be
offense.
able to run the ball. I
Their
don't.
defense is good too. It's not like they have a bad
They
defense.
do have a good
TJ
defense,
Watt, I think TJ Watt.
but there's so many more weapons on the 49ers than there is the.
Hey, Pittsburgh by 2. I'm calling it now.
I'll take that.
All
I'll
right.
take that. I think the Niners are going to win. Next, I have the Ravens beating the Texans.
I think all of America has that besides
Yeah.
Texas fans.
Don't need to talk about that one too much. I have the Bears beating the Packers.
I do too.
I think that Justin Fields is going to come out and run all over that defense. I think that the Bears are going to show what they can do offensively. But I could also see Jordan Love really balling out, but we'll see.
I think the offenses compared to each other, the Bears offense is like night and day ahead of what
Correct.
the Packers are. It's going to take Jordan Love a little bit to.
And if they just had the Packers defense, they'd be the number one team in the NFC.
Yeah, the defense this year for the Packers is really going to be the one that keeps them in games.
Yeah.
And unless Jordan Love is all of a sudden, again, you get the timeline and the history repeats itself. Rodgers, Brett Favre.
I'm scared it will, but I
Yeah.
kind of feel like it will.
But like wide receivers, you have the young Christian Watson, Romeo. Like you don't have anybody that really is like, ooh, he's a true threat. Because like I was looking at the stat, Jahan Dotson had comparable stats to Christian Watson last year. And
But he was hurt a lot of games.
But he was hurt. But Christian Watson's the number one receiver. Oh, Christian Watson's so good. Oh, but like
Jahan Dotson also has more. It's hard because Christian Watson's success, you're basing it off of Jordan Love. Jahan Dotson's success, he could still be very successful as long as Sam Howell's good. And Sam Howell sucks. They got Jacoby Brissett, and I'd bet my money on Jacoby Brissett. He was really good last year. So
I like Jacoby. I wanted the Eagles to sign him so bad over Mariota. Fucking mistake.
He's not gonna lose you a game, but he's not gonna win you a game.
Fucking mistake.
Yeah.
That's all I know. Who's next?
Raiders versus Broncos.
I went Broncos.
I took the Raiders. I think that the Raiders are going to be not good this year, but I think the Raiders might upset the Broncos. That's a divisional win or divisional game. It's always hard. You know how they be. Now I got to drink another beer because he's drinking another beer, folks.
Are you trying to stay ahead of me, or are you at the same with me?
I have no idea.
I have the Broncos winning. I think the Raiders' defense is still ass. I think the Broncos' offense with Sean Payton is going to be a lot better, and the Broncos' defense is still pretty damn good.
Khalil Mack's not going to let that happen. I know. You thought I was serious right there? You think I'm serious? Khalil Mack is going to stop Russell Wilson. That's my hot take, all right?
Are you drunk right now? I'm just saying you could do better.
It's too... You know what? The fact that you're not drunk, you're really ruining the podcast because it's two drunk guys in a football
Wow,
podcast.
I'm the one that took shots
Nah,
this last bonus episode.
not
and
one
you
drunk
wouldn't.
guy in a football podcast, but I guess.
You know what? I need to start. If you come pick me up, I'll start drinking at home before I come over and get drunk.
Courtney, take him.
Oh my goodness.
Dolphins versus the Chargers.
This one was tough.
Who'd you take? I want to know who you took.
I ended up taking the Chargers.
Yeah, I took the Dolphins.
I trust Herbert more
Over
than
Tua?
Yeah.
I just feel like speed kills in the NFL.
Oh, I agree.
And Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Holy crap, dude. They both combined for almost 3,000 yards. They were deadly last year. I feel like Tua healthy, if he's not all fucked up from concussions and stuff like that. I like Tua.
Yeah.
He's all right.
My two things with that is Brandon Staley as a head coach is a defensive-minded coach. So I think he's going to be able to, as much as a shitty head coach he's been,
Yeah.
defensively he's still smart. His defense, you have a defensive coordinator for a fucking reason. But the Chargers offense is just too fucking powerful. In a close game, I trust Justin Herbert being able to drive down the field more than Tua can if it comes down to that, which it may happen. The biggest thing is that the Chargers have to learn to stop leaving fucking time on the clock because that's what always kills them. You fucking score and you leave time on the clock
Because they can't run the ball. They cannot run the
Who
ball.
the fuck? You think the Dolphins are going to be able to run the ball? With old ass Raheem Mostert? Not going to happen.
Devon A-Chain is going to come in.
Not going to fucking happen. They're not going to run. They're not going to be able to run the ball at all with those two. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Fuck you.
We're really going overtime.
Yeah.
But we're in OT mode right now. Don't worry, folks. Hot take right now.
Fuck Tua.
Pure runner of the ball. Mostert is a better runner than Eckler.
Fine. That's fine. I don't give a shit. They're not going to be able to run the ball. They're going to rely too much on Tua's arm. And Tua's arm, I trust Justin Herbert.
I like Eckler a lot, but Eckler is not a great runner of the ball. He is
This game is going to come down to quarterback and quarterback's arm, and I trust Justin Herbert more.
Okay.
Philadelphia at New England.
I have. Do I have that one on there? Why do I miss some?
Philly. If you don't say Philly, I'm going to punch you in the face.
I think the Patriots are going to
shut the fuck up.
Philly.
Mac, you don't like Mac Jones.
I don't like Mac Jones. Anyone that likes Mac Jones is coping really hard.
And their wide receivers,
Mac Jones is Kirk Cousins' son, so
yeah. Next one is Rams at Seattle. I think we both can agree Seattle's going to pull that one out.
What the hell was I doing,
dude? Are you fucking?
I did it off of them. I have Rams.
Okay. Next one is Dallas at Giants.
I'll take Dallas.
I have Dallas. Did you not put them on your? Do you not have?
I think I got it mixed up because I have Rams versus the Giants and then Buffalo versus the Jets. So.
Bro, all you have to do is take this image, send it to your email, or
I know.
Google it. It's right there. Just put it on your fucking paper.
Hey, you know what? The Cowboys are gonna win, and the last one's Buffalo versus the Jets.
Yeah, I have Buffalo.
I'm taking the Jets.
I thought about it.
It's in
New York,
or New Jersey, wherever they play. I don't know where they're stadium.
MetLife Stadium. Yeah.
I feel like it's going to be a divisional game. I feel like it's hard. I feel like Aaron Rodgers is going to be hungry to make a splash in New York. I feel like they're going to win.
Yeah, I went with the Bills just because I think they have the
better team.
I wouldn't say better.
Chemistry
is already built. A lot of those guys haven't left it. A lot of them have been there for a while.
You a big Josh Allen guy?
No.
You like Josh Allen a lot?
I'll take Aaron Rodgers over him any day. But I just think that the Bills, you throw in a new quarterback, you don't know what you're truly going to get yet. It's up and down. maybe take a game for the Jets to kind of get into that funk with Rodgers. You still have the timings with preseason can do something, but you still have the timings of Rodgers and his receivers. Again, with the running back situation, you don't know what the fuck we're gonna get out of Brees Hall and Dalvin Cook. I think the Bills just have that team. Mostly everybody on that roster has been there. They know what's going on.
They only had like Dalton and Kincaid.
Yeah, and that just makes their Dawson Knox, Dalton Kincaid very good duo. Yeah. They lost Isaiah McKenzie. They still have Gabe Davis. They're still a very good complete team. Yeah, it's and that chemistry is all there. So I think I don't think the Jets will maybe be there 100% right away. So that's why I took the Bills.
Is that all we have for them today?
Yeah. Right. I think that was a good episode with the new format.
A lot of filming, though.
Yeah. A lot of filming. As the weeks go on, there's going to be
less. Yeah, we'll get better at it.
Yeah, we'll be fine. But stay tuned till next week. I hope you all... Oh,
you go ahead.
Hope you all fucking enjoy week 1 of NFL football.
Please do. Like and subscribe.